Hello again, everyone. Hope you are well on this Thursday afternoon. We're almost into Friday. Thank goodness. Trump has declared war on the cartel organizations, classified them as terrorist organizations. I thought he had already done that, actually, but he came out today and said that he sent a memo to Congress saying such as well. Maybe that's just a green light to go. I don't know. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, give you my thoughts on it. Also, a warning, a reminder about public awareness, especially men. Protect your women, your family. Okay, I'm going to go more into that and why I'm saying it and making it one of the topics of the video. I have a terrific passage I'm going to share with you towards the end of this video as well. First, a couple little well, at least this story really caught my attention. Well, two of them. Disney World attendance has plunged to an all-time low for the year 2025 as visitors report that a good part of these parks are ghost towns, they're calling them. September, is forecast to be the slowest month in a long time, in years. They say it's the slowest since 2021, and we know what happened in 2021. They pretty much shut down a lot of stuff, right? So, yeah, so they have really plunged. Disney World, all their parks. Not a surprise at all as far as reasons cited. Hey, you know, the cost, it's really expensive. And with the way the economy is, a lot of people just don't have that money, y'all. They're putting that money somewhere else. They're trying to pay bills, insurance, what have you, food costs. You know, it's the inflation and the economy, I think, is a big part of it. Also, politics. Their politics is, you know, people that don't agree with it, they're just not going to Disney World. I have not been to Disney World in a long time. I don't envision ever going to Disney World as long as for the rest of my life here on this earth. So, not happening. I'd rather go many other places, actually. And I'd rather go many other places in the United States. I don't even want to go out of the country, to tell you the truth. I don't. No. Yeah, other states, yes, I do. There are things I haven't seen, I want to see. Also, in the UK, United Kingdom, folks that are in the UK, I know I have viewers. Chime in the comments about this if you can. This is a growing problem. This happened, I believe, earlier today. Manchester, outside a synagogue. The attacker used a car and a knife. You can about guess what kind of attacker it was. 2 did not survive. 4 badly wounded. An attack on the Jewish community, absolutely. And this is increasing, y'all. And this it's going to keep happening, and it's not going to stop. You know, this is the consequences of when you leave the gates wide open for the world to march right in and invade you with no vetting, no real process. This is what happens. Your culture is being watered away, just stomped out, and that's what's happening. Similarly, what we are seeing in the United States, Canada probably too, United States, is that, you know, the prior administration for 4 years left the gates literally wide open for whoever to just come marching right in. And that's part of the problem, I believe, with the next thing I'm going to talk about. And that's the cartels. Now, they've probably been here before the last administration. I don't know. You know, but Trump came out today, said he sent a memo to Congress saying that he declares non-international armed conflict with drug cartels, whether they're here or south of us or wherever they are. Said that they are responsible for the massive loss of life due to drugs. And this is in an effort to combat the flow of illegal drugs up into the United States. Now, the Democrats are pushing back on this. Now, of course they are. Now, I have some thoughts about this. And why I think it's something that we need to pay attention to and really amp up our level of being protective and awareness. But first, I think that my initial thoughts on it, yes, of course, go after the vermin, the evil who are responsible for just flowing drugs up and just flooding us with this stuff, y'all. It's awful. It's destructive. It's responsible for a lot of loss of life, no doubt about it. But there is a demand for it here. There's a unreal demand for it. We see it in our work, in my job. It's awful. It's absolutely awful, y'all. What it does to people and families, I can't describe. But so yeah, go after them. Now, what I would caution, what I don't want to see is a situation where on United States soil, where you have a situation where we see a lot of United States military, active duty, Army, what have you, roaming around on American soil. I don't want that. This should be carried out by law enforcement, immigration control enforcement, and customs enforcement. Immigration customs enforcement, ICE, local, state, federal law enforcement, FBI, your state, whatever, there's a GBI here, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So federal, state, law enforcement, National Guard, absolutely. That's what is supposed to happen. But my concern would be that this gets to a level to where people are desensitized to seeing military federal troops roaming around all the time on our streets. I have a concern about that. We shouldn't put up with that. Because if we do, then what are we setting up for? What are we setting up for in the future? Think about it, right? Also, we've seen, I've mentioned this once before, big time drug busts very close to us over here where we live that are cartel connection. They have cartel connections. They're embedded in there. Right here, y'all. They're in just about every state, if not every state. They're more embedded than you can imagine. I've done some research, I've done some reading, and watched some videos, and even just the local news here, y'all. Big time drug busts practically in our backyard, y'all. Not far from us. Kind of scary. They didn't just recover drugs. They recovered weapons that you would see in an army, all right? I mean a real army. Also, and I know a couple of you made a comments in my last video about not far from here, they had one situation in Gainesville and one in, I believe, Gwinnett County, not terribly far from here, down the road a bit towards Atlanta, but where you had violence that was cartel related and connected. And I'm not going to go into details. It's horrific. But at least two instances that they're investigating. So there's that. Other things that I've read about it is that they like the small towns. They get embedded in your rural areas, your semi-rural, even in your suburbs, hiding in plain sight. Not just in cities, not just in big cities. Sounds like they prefer the outer regions. Probably because they can be a little more influential. Not as many law enforcement, or law enforcement's tied up doing other stuff. Or maybe they're even connected to some of that stuff and have influence with leaders. I wouldn't be surprised at that either. Not at all. So I believe it goes much, much deeper than we realize. So that's something to think about. But I think the other aspect of this that I'm concerned about is human trafficking, which is a huge problem, especially in the rural areas. because you let your guard down. A lot of people will let their guard down. Like you go to a store out here somewhere, and you walk in, your radar may not be quite as high up as if you go down to Metro Atlanta somewhere into a store, to where you're like, but around here or somewhere in another rural area, even more north of us, you go into a store and it's like, hey, I'm amongst my people here. Well, you still need to be alert, especially if you got kids, you got small kids, you got your grandchildren, you got your daughter, and those of you who are young, we need to protect our women. We got to step it up. And I know most people here watching, I'm preaching to the choir. I know, I realize that. But let's remind our other people in our life, our family, our men, need to be careful, be watchful of your family and your women. Okay. Go in pairs or more if you can. I know that's not always possible, but be alert. I've heard stories just recently about people, especially younger women, or with women with young children, or both, or combination, being followed, being watched, being checked out by men roaming a store without a cart. They're not shopping. It's obvious they're not shopping for anything in there. They're shopping for something else. But and luckily they were alert, and no harm was done. But the ones who are not alert, what happens? I don't even want to think about it, really. I mean, really, So just a reminder, just a warning. Let's just be alert no matter what area we're in, y'all. Because I know of one instance for sure that this happened in a red state and in a very red area, to where it's a young family, and it scared them. They're scared the mom, and she had her children with her, and was alert and realized that they're being watched and they're being followed. No harm was done. But that's that's a wake-up call to all of us. So let's be alert. Let's share your thoughts on this. But I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. And I tell you what, I'm going to go do a passage, because that's always good news, right? Always. I'm going into, where am I? First Chronicles, actually. First Chronicles, I don't think I've ever read this one in a video, but First Chronicles chapter 16, verse 34 says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his faithfulness is everlasting." It's forever. And there are a lot of verses that all throughout the Bible that are very similar to that, but it's just another reminder. But I believe that's by design, is that we hear something similar to this throughout the Old and the New Testament. Give thanks. Stay faithful. He is good. His faithfulness is everlasting. That means it's forever. It's not just sometimes or temporary, or it's going to change. And but we see that so much, and it's just a good reminder. I think it's uplifting. Just like we also see something similar to where, do not be anxious, do not worry. We see that 365 times in the Bible. It's for one every day. I think that's for a reason. So that should be encouraging. Again, let's stay alert. Share your thoughts. If you like the video, hit the like button. We appreciate it. After you hit the like button, if you see that word hype, hit the hype button. It helps us out a little bit. Appreciate it. But let's be safe. Stay close to Jesus. God bless you. I'll see you soon.